She knew that now. Just make it fast, she thought desperately. Please, make it fast. She lay there powerless and watched the roof coming down towards her, closed her eyes, and waited to die. Chapter 1. Summer 1970. Whack! The whip cracked down across the nude buttocks of the man tied to the bed. He moaned, but was careful not to scream. He'd had his orders. "This is a nice place," the woman told him, looming over him. She was dressed in a white topless PVC mini-dress and matching high-heeled boots. A white nurse's cap was perched jauntily on her coal-black hair. Her ample and naked coffee-coloured breasts bounced as she drew back the whip to strike again. "Remember that. I don't want you kicking off and yelling the sodding place down now, do I?" The client strained to look back at her over his shoulder from his prone position. He said nothing. Whack! "Answer Nursey when she speaks to you," trilled the woman. "No, I won't scream," he panted. "Good, that's good. You'll take your punishment, yes?" "Yes," he groaned as she raised the whip again. "Right answer." The girl grinned and trailed the whip's leather lightly down between his quivering white buttocks. "Now that's good. Now we're starting to understand one another. Because you've been a very bad boy. Ain't that right?" "That's right," he muttered into the pillow. He was sweating, and his eyes were closed. The woman watched him, judging her victim. Sure, he was sweating. It was a hot night. Damp and clammy and airless. Welcome to a summer's night in England, folks. The windows were closed, though. She'd opened them earlier and shut them pretty damned quick. The constant roar of the traffic was an annoying distraction. So he was hot. She was pretty fucking hot herself. Rubber might light the man's candle, but it was a bitch to wear on a humid night. Just for the hell of it, she gave him another swipe with the whip. He gave a faint cry, flinched and strained against his bonds. Hell, anyone would think he wasn't enjoying this. She sure hoped he was. It was costing him enough after all. Actually, it was costing her too, in terms of energy and stamina. After an evening of whining, dining and shagging, she now had to get down to the add-ons, the not-so-little extras that the man tied to the bed required. Most men, you did an escort job for them. They expected a bit of straightforward hanky-panky too, and that was cool. This client had more specific needs, and he was one of her regulars. Her reputation as a dominatrix was legendary. Her speciality was what this client wanted, and the price had been fair, she had to admit that, and the price was all that mattered. Take the money and run, she thought. But now she was tired. She wanted to crawl into bed with her man, get some kip if it was possible in this heat. When he closed his eyes again, she glanced at her watch. The extra hour he'd paid for was nearly up. Soon she'd be out of here. Soon she'd be home. Whack! Oh, how he writhed. She sort of enjoyed that, to tell the truth, when they writhed. Just a bit. But she'd been doing this S&M gig for so long that it was beginning to bore her. Once the thrill had been in doing it, socking it to the punters. But she was a married lady now, and maybe this was not the sort of thing that a married lady ought to do. Not even with her loving husband's consent, which she'd always had. The woman frowned. And maybe, just maybe, this was a thing that a loving husband ought to have a bit of a problem with. How was that for a thought? This was something that kept popping into her brain more and more often.